Test. Alright. Okay, good. It's working. Go. And yeah, I gotta record this one kind of weird, but whatever.
Volume 1.
Alright.
Load game. Load.
Yeah.
Load.
Right,
File page 2. Load.
Okay, we got the salvation
Load slot.
ending, and we have
Load.
the...
Load. File page. Load. Load.
Yeah, let's start with the
Load slot 4. Miss Bar's journey. Yes. Save slot 4. Save.
I already saved it.
Load. Load slot. Load. Loading will lose. Loads. Miss Bar. No.
Okay,
Miss Bar's journey will continue in Volume 1. Implication Theater. Continue. This route contains content warnings for depiction of blood, depiction of death, depiction of a dead body, discussion of institutional violence.
Death
Route
and
has
dead bodies
action
kinda go
sequences. Player discretion is advised.
With those action sequences.
Explaining how you got here turns out to be a lot trickier than you thought it would, mostly on account of phrases like "well, I just kind of did the thing I do" don't really help you to convey your meaning. Theseus listens calmly as you tell her about another universe that you closed off to protect all of your friends. About how you brought a bunch of Alternians there too so they could be safe and happy with each other. About how you really just wanted to make sure everyone was safe. Theseus narrows her eyes.
Safe? You think that safety is something I care about anymore?
Yes. No. You're not sure what answer she's looking for, honestly.
I'm not looking for anything from you. I just want to know why you thought you could show up here like nothing changed.
Don't mind me just updating the title of the video. Whoops.
Theseus, I'm not looking for, as you're about to answer in a way that will definitely win her over and make it clear that you're just about the best friend ever, you hear a knock on the door, followed by soft click of the latch. And there she is, your other teal blood WLW friend, still saw.
WLW, don't know what that is.
Why does she look so surprised to see you?
Well, hello there.
You put on a winning smile and strike a confident pose. You just had to head out for a bit to do some stuff, but you're back now.
You certainly are back, I'll give you that much. I'm not sure what to do with that information.
Here, Stels. The friend-shaped entity here was just explaining their big plan for... what exactly?
Oh yeah. Well, see, once you get your awesome powers back, a thing you assume will be relatively easy to do, no big deal, then you were going to offer to take both of them with you to the locked timeline you created. You take a moment to briefly explain what a locked timeline is in the most direct way you can manage. Stilsa's eyes grow wide.
That's amazing! I can't believe that you were able to do something so incredible! And all by yourself, no less. Why, we'd love to come back to your timeline with you, wouldn't we, Zizi? We can make a whole outing of it. I'll go pack some things and...
She trails off, looking back and forth between you and Theseus.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Just that this is awfully convenient. How long has it been?
About 2 sweeps. You remember that from a few minutes ago. You've got an excellent short-term memory under most circumstances.
Right. But that was 2 sweeps where our lives kept going. You know that, right?
Of course you do. The thing of it is, you try really hard to explain how this isn't really your fault. The whole thing with Doc Scratch and the fenestrated plane, and you don't think this is really coming across as an explanation so much as a flimsy excuse.
Zizi! Shouldn't we at least listen to what they have to say?
Theseus doesn't respond right away. She furrows her brow and shakes her head slowly, looking between the faces of her mate Sprit and you, the jackass who left without so much as a goodbye.
I need to talk to you for a minute.
Theseus doesn't so much ask you to come with her as she roughly pulls you out into the corridor while Stilsa looks vaguely confused. She leans up against the wall not far from the door to the room that she and Stilsa are apparently sharing and sighs.
You really aren't getting it, are you?
You start to protest that you definitely get it in whatever sense of that she means, but you stop when you see her face.
Look, 2 sweeps is a long time. Things are different now than they were. People are different than they were.
Speaking of that, you ask her how Daria is doing. You meant to ask before and felt bad about, oh. Theseus' face doesn't look happy.
I don't know how Daria is, because I haven't been able to talk to her in a sweep. And I've got some other stuff going on. A lot of other stuff, as a matter of fact. And I don't think you'd actually understand what it's like.
Wait a minute, is this about the thing you were saying when you first showed up? The starting fires and misfiling paperwork thing? Theseus shifts nervously against the wall and shakes her head.
Look, I don't want to talk about it right now, okay?
Before you can probe more into the specifics of her evasive non-answer, you hear someone walking down the hallway. It appears to be Tagora, walking with his hands in his pockets and a frown on his face. You're about to say something when you get a close look at Theseus' face, and suddenly you think that maybe now isn't really the time to talk to her.
Ah, excellent. You're out here brooding and generally being sullen.
What the fuck do you want, Sorgor? Don't you have a hate wedding to plan with your Kismesis?
Oh, nothing. Just have a quick conversation with a fellow loyal member of the Legis Corpus.
You're about to settle into quiet listening mode when Tagora shoots you a withering glare.
A conversation I was hoping to have in private, actually.
Okay, fine. You know how to take a hint, actually. You wander around the ship a little bit. The corridors you encounter are remarkably similar, actually, and you find yourself quickly getting lost. After some time, you finally make your way to some kind of observation deck. Looking out the large pane window to see Alternia floating there softly against the hard vacuum of space, it almost makes you forget how harsh a place it actually is. Your vaguely existential ponderings are cut short when another one of your old friends interrupts.
Ah, if it isn't my old friend, the esteemed cultural ambassador from the alien world of... You know, I'm not entirely sure that you actually told me what the name of your planet was.
Ooh.
Galek, if it isn't my old friend, the esteemed cultural ambassador from the alien world of, you know, I'm not entirely sure that you actually told me what the name of your planet was. 1. I use the term more in the general loose sense of professional camaraderie than deep friendship. I hope you don't take offense. 2. I believe this was the story you told me at the time, although with some hindsight I realize it was a flimsy pretense. 3. I apologize if it has simply slipped my mind. It's been a few sweeps now.
Okay.
So, Galek, oh, yeah, that. Well, your planet is called Earth. You've actually been hanging out on a different version of it lately, if he knows what you mean. From his skeptical expression, you think that maybe he doesn't.
Indeed. I don't pretend to, but I suppose it's beside the point. That being said, I am happy to see you again.
You tell Galek that you're happy to see him too. You really feel bad about how long you were gone and all. It wasn't strictly your fault, but you're also not getting into that whole discussion again.
Which is completely fine. I completely understand the need for a certain amount of discretion in one's day-to-day affairs. My work with the Alternian government often requires it.
Alright, specifically, the refusal to discuss certain key details for various reasons related to safety and confidentiality. Unfortunately, not something I am
Selected.
at liberty to discuss.
Galek,
Okay.
that's great. You're in the process of asking Galek what it is that he does for the government when his expression grows cold and he shakes his head.
I feel that I already addressed why I can't discuss the specifics.
Oh yeah? Well, how about this whole hate wedding thing? What's the deal with the hate wedding? Galek slightly rolls his eyes.
Is Tagora still insisting on calling it that? It's simply that we are forming a legally binding partnership based around our kismicitude that includes various consequences for breaking the contract and other such details.
To refer to the whole thing as a wedding is somewhat reductive, and I will not tolerate reductivism in my relationships. No, it's not a sex thing. Honestly, it's mostly boring legal stuff at this point.
So, Galek,
It's a fairly
is
standard
Tagora
practice,
still insisting
and it
on
helps
calling
ensure
it
that my kismesis is
It's
assigned
simply that
appropriately
we are forming a
cushy,
legally binding
non-fatal
partnership
positions.
based around our kismicitude that includes various consequences for breaking the contract and other such details. You look around the observation deck, and you have to agree that cushy seems like a pretty good way to describe everything here. You congratulate Galek on his excellent taste and he smiles at you.
Thank you. The ship is mine, of course. Partially for personal use and partially for my work. You're welcome to be here, and you are, of course, welcome to stay for the the ceremony later.
Which, as previously mentioned, I will not be disclosing details of, provided you behave yourself and don't bother anyone. I'm going to go throttle Volgar for
Galek,
using
selected.
that name phrase.
Galek, as you're politely listening to Galek go on about the various things he can't talk about for vague, unspecified reasons, you hear a loud buzzing tone coming from his pocket. Galek pulls out his faux palm husk. He pulls out his palm husk and glares down at it. Before you can ask what's going on, the palm husk sounds another alert and Galek's face only gets darker and more concerned.
If you'll excuse me, I have an important matter to attend to. As I stated previously, you're welcome on this ship as my guest. Please, make yourself at ease.
Galek walks off in a hurry, leaving you staring once more out the window at the sweeping vista of the stars and the planet below. Once more, you can't help but think how peaceful it all is from up here. It's almost like you can ignore the constant misery down below and focus just on the natural beauty of it all. You get about 15 minutes into this bout of reflection when you start to get antsy and need to wander the ship some more. After all, Galek said that you were free to wander. Well, okay, maybe not exactly that, but you feel like the implication was there. Once more, you find yourself traveling through some more very same Y corridors in search of something interesting. You decide against the bridge. Galek's comment about not bothering people stands out in your mind. Instead, you head in the opposite direction toward what you naturally think of as the back of the ship. After a few more minutes, you end up in a large room that looks like it might be a cargo bay of some kind. Maybe it's the vague association your brain forms between this and your platonic ideal of the postal service, or maybe it's just your need for adventure, but something calls out to you here. And then, you notice that the airlock at the far end appears to be open. Cautiously, you approach the airlock. This is probably just a mundane thing, probably nothing to worry about. Oh shit, no, this is something to worry about. That is definitely a body. Maybe not a dead body, but, fuck, they sure do look dead and there's blood everywhere. You think it's pretty unlikely that someone could lose that much blood and still be okay. It's a troll wearing some kind of spacesuit, and it looks like they're hooked up to a safety tether or something. Did you mention that there is a large amount of blood?
Yeah, it's brown blood. Maybe it's oh, what's her name? Skyla?
But that's okay, this is fine, you've dealt with blood before. Clearly, something is happening here and you need to do something.
You need
Quit.
to save the game.
Save slot 6. Save. Save. Investigate. Okay, dead bodies. You're totally, 100% sure that you're absolutely fine with dead bodies, and blood. Holy shit, that is definitely blood. It's all splattered on the floor and the keypad end. You have, at some point very recently, begun to panic. You're shaking as you try to figure out what it is you're seeing. No big deal, you'll just investigate this keypad over here. You know, the one covered in blood. You're not sure if you slipped in the blood or if you're just freaking out and tripped over your own feet, but you start to fall forward and accidentally hit the keypad.
I get sucked out into
There's a
space.
quick rush of air, a sudden moment of intense fear, of stark, terrifying realization, and then you're floating. The council will see you now. Sylph of Space, oh, hey, you're back. Sylph of Space, I don't mean here, because this isn't really a place. I mean, Sylph of Space, what exactly do you hope to accomplish through all of this? Save select, save, save, save. I want to rescue my friends.
Rescue.
Sylph of Space, I understand, sometimes it feels like so much, all the time. Sometimes all you can do is save the people you care about. Sylph of Space, if that's what you want, be prepared to do some convincing. Sometimes people aren't going to want to just run away with you. Sylph of Space, point of all this being, I think you should keep trying. Your journey's still just beginning, it would be a shame to give up now. It's a troll wearing some kind of spacesuit, and it looks like they're hooked up to a safety tether or something. Did you mention that there is a large amount of blood? But that's okay, this is fine, you've dealt with blood before. Actually, maybe not do that. You back slowly out of the airlock, you don't know much about forensic investigation to begin with, and you're starting to panic. You'd probably end up tripping over your own ass and sending yourself out the airlock if you tried to do anything yourself. As you're heading out to try to find someone with more qualifications in the field of figuring out who did a murder, you practically bump into Tagora.
Watch where you're going. It's bad enough that I have to deal with everything else today.
You can't help but notice that Tagora seems to be acting in a way that is especially suspicious. Quickly, you put on your junior legislacerator hat, the hat is metaphorical, and prepare to question Tagora. The questions are literal.
I don't know what you're doing here, but I don't like it.
He seems oddly calm about all of this.
There you are. I inquired as to your whereabouts, but Tisius was unsure exactly where you'd gone.
There, Galek, there you are.
Fortunately, it's not an
I inquired
especially
as to
large
your
ship
whereabouts.
limited options.
Selected, Galek,
What is
there
it?
you are. I inquired as to your whereabouts, but
I
Tisius was
just
unsure
needed to-
exactly where you'd gone. He trails off, and you can see his eyes dart over to the open airlock. Slowly, Galek approaches the door and looks inside.
What in the Empress's name is going on here?
What? What is it?
Galek looks furious, and he's got his hand inside of his jacket, hand on something that you're starting to realize is some kind of pistol.
What is the meaning of this?
Ugh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Gorgor, how could you? I know you hate me, but I didn't realize you hated me. To do something like this on my own ship, in the middle of what should be a miserably joyous day for both of us.
I believe the distinction in this case to be extremely important, and cultural nuance, while subtle, should not be overlooked. Again, the cultural subtleties are there, but I hope not lost on my alien
Selected,
friend here.
Galek, image TZ is
What
not
the
found.
fuck, Sorgor? What were you even doing down here?
Tagora backs away nervously, putting his hands up and shaking his head. Honestly, he doesn't really seem like someone who's been caught red-handed so much as someone who has no clue what's going on.
You don't understand. I just got here.
A likely story. The kind of story a rebellion spy would tell. Tagora, the only reason I'm not going to shoot you on the spot is because in spite of everything, I still care about you. If it weren't for my pitch feelings...
He doesn't finish the sentence, but you think that he doesn't really need to. Slowly, Tagora lowers his hands, and he just looks deflated now.
Fine. Do what you want.
It doesn't take long to lock Tagora up in the office you found him in earlier. He doesn't really seem too interested in putting up much of a fight at this point. You manage to catch up to Galek once he's done locking the door.
Oh, It's you again. I'm truly sorry that you had to witness such a base display of emotion on my part. I'm simply overwhelmed that my own Kismesis would disrespect me like this.
I've been known to sometimes become overwhelmed, perhaps even fly off the handle a little bit, you know, the whole murder thing.
So, Galek sighs heavily and lowers his head, and you can't help but think that right now he looks like he very much doesn't want to be here.
I suppose it falls to me to deal with this matter in the prescribed manner.
You have a sinking feeling that what he's talking about involves a bullet to the head.
Not necessarily. An airlock could also be involved. Any method at all, really. But regardless, I still fall under Imperial law when it comes to these matters. And as an Alternian officer in my own right, I cannot simply ignore it.
You're starting to get an idea. You put up a hand. What if, you suggest, Tagora were given the option of a trial? Wouldn't that be a good idea that's very much in keeping with the Alternian legal system?
I suppose. You
Hopefully
do
it's not
understand
like
that
the
Alternian trials are
trial
mostly a formality,
frame.
right? I would simply be delaying the inevitability of my unpleasant
pipe
duty that
smoking.
would sadly still be my responsibility.
This is something that Tagore himself would be painfully familiar with, being a showmaster himself. Basically, the showmaster runs the trial in a way that is intended to be the most dramatic and entertaining spectacle possible. At the end of it all, the defendant is invariably judged to be properly guilty and either summarily executed, or, if a tyranny is available, fed to his honorable tyranny. The later practice has fallen somewhat out of favor, in that there are fewer and fewer tyrannies hatched in these latter days of the old empire.
Select Galek, you understand that, but what if you could provide some kind of defense? Maybe things aren't all that they seem. Galek eyes you skeptically.
I suppose that would be acceptable. At least to humor you while I mentally prepare myself for executing my own Kismesis.
He sighs and shrugs.
Very well. You may have run of the ship to conduct whatever investigation you see fit and interview any witnesses. I'll add your biometric data to the ship's scanning system so that you can access the office where Tagore is being held.
Be cautious when investigating the airlock. I wouldn't want you to accidentally end up in deep space. Ha. I believe that Tysius and Stelsa are about if you want their insight. I simply cannot bear to call him Gorgor right now.
Select Galek. Galek pulls his palm husk out of his pocket and swipes a few times on the screen. It chirps softly to indicate that whatever he was just doing worked. You guess? You're still not totally clear on how all this alien technology actually works.
There. I will be on the bridge. Please feel free to ask me any questions as pertain to your investigations. Once you're done gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses, we can conduct a proper trial. And then I can get this whole Empress Stand process over with.
Well, fuck. Looks like you're
Yeah,
going
this
to
is gonna
have
be
to try to
painful.
figure out what's really going on here. You don't think it's especially likely that Tagora actually killed anyone? That doesn't really seem like his speed.
Yeah, there's really no evidence.
You guess
We
you
don't even
should
know who
probably
this was.
start by talking to Tagora, given that you're going to be defending him and all that. You should investigate the ship thoroughly and talk to everyone who was involved. Quit game. Save slot 2. Save. Load. Load
I just want
load.
to see if
Load slot 1. I want Sylph of space. Sylph of space. Sylph of space. Sylph
I'm
of
just
space.
gonna click
It's a troll wearing some kind.
Yeah.
It's a say. Load.
Load
Load slot.
The third
Load.
option.
Loads. Sylph of space. Sylph of space. I don't. Sylph of space. It's
Alright, it looks like all
save.
those go to the same thing.
Save. No.
No.
Load. Load slot. Load. Loads.
Okay. So, locations.
You should in
Alright, locations is the only thing I have right now.
office. You open the door to find a sullen-looking Tagoro leaning up against the bookshelf in the corner, eyeing you suspiciously.
Come to gawk at the condemned?
Well, no, you explain, not really. You're actually here to defend him. To provide some kind of chance of maybe, not being condemned,
Oh, Empress, that's somehow even worse.
Ouch. Well, you're about the only chance he's got right now since no one else seems to particularly care about his plight.
Fair enough, so what's your brilliant plan?
You don't want to admit that this is about as far as you've managed to get as far as the actual planning thing goes.
This is it, huh? You haven't actually thought of anything.
Well, the thing about that is,
Fine, make this quick.
save. Save. Save.
Save.
Why was... Tagora narrows his eyes and glares at you, and you're really not getting a very warm and friendly vibe from him. Hey, aren't you friends?
You're a dangerous person to be friends with. I'd rather not right now, if it's all the same to you.
Okay, fine, but you also notice that he completely dodged the question. What was he doing down by the cargo bay? Acting awfully suspicious too.
I wasn't doing anything, and I don't have to answer to you either.
Of course not, but it might make things tricky as far as the whole preventing Tagora from dying objective. This seems like pretty important information.
It's none of your business what I was doing down there. Maybe you should concentrate on finding out what's going on rather than running around in circles like this. Does it matter?
Well, you explain, yet it kinda does. It'd be a bit hard to prove his innocence if he wasn't actually innocent.
My innocence? You honestly think that has anything to do with the outcome here?
Tagoro laughs in a way that you find more than a little bit unsettling.
Please, Galax made up his mind, so that's basically it.
And that doesn't bother him at all? You're still not completely sure how the whole quadrant thing works, but you were pretty sure that Kismeses weren't supposed to literally kill each other.
Oh, this isn't about our relationship anymore. This is completely inside of his head.
You remind yourself that you should look around the room too and see if you can find any clues. Finding clues is one of the things that good detectives do. Why, you'd be willing to bet there's even a neat little symbolic representation of the bits of the room you can look at, maybe some kind of magnifying glass. Location. Location.
Look at that.
Location. Saves, location.
Save. Books.
Looking through the books on the shelf, you don't really see anything that would be particularly useful to you. You're still able to recognize most of the writing, the characters forming intuitively into something you can comprehend. The subject matter of the books, on the other hand, is completely beyond your abilities. You aren't even going to pretend that this stuff is even remotely accessible to you. Location. You know what? Not all of the flora on Alternia is a horrific nightmare of teeth and spines hell-bent on killing every living organism it encounters. Just, a lot of it. But this plant is perfectly normal and harmless. At least it is right now, maybe it'll grow up to be a giant, friend-eating monstrosity one day. Best not to think about it too much. Location. There's something to be said for the convergent evolution of vastly different worlds that has ensured the universality of a cute kitten dangling precariously while encouraging the viewer to hang in there. Of course, this being Alternia, there's probably some horrible catch. The tree is venomous, or the kitten is venomous, or there's some venomous creature just out of frame. Whatever the case, you're completely certain that venom is involved somehow. Locate. You're pretty sure that Galek wouldn't leave Tagora in here if the computer actually gave him any way of connecting to the outside world, and, sure enough, it seems like it's completely locked out without some kind of administrative passcode. You can see a few program icons in the background, Solitaire, some kind of word processing program, and something called Vital Track, but none of it is anything you can open or look at. Location. Office.
Anything else?
Location. 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 Location.
Oh, right, it actually
Look.
clicks stuff off.
Location. Actually, locate.
Oh,
Save slot.
progress?
Save. Location. Location. Bridge.
Well, I want to
Load.
check out.
Load slot 4. Load. Load slot. Location. Save slot. Load. Load. Did he do it? That's it for now. Location. Office. Location. You
Oh,
should
it's like-
investigate the ship thoroughly. What?
Okay.
That's it for now.
It
Location.
just lets me go back and
Load.
double
Load slot. Load.
make sure I'm
Load.
go
Load.
through all the
Location.
things.
Location. Bridge. Location. Bridge. You should investigate. You walk onto the bridge of the ship and you're immediately struck by just how quiet it is. You expected a spaceship to have all kinds of humming gizmos and whatnot all over the place, but it's mostly just a few trolls sitting in silence and tapping on screens. And, of course, a very sullen-looking Galek standing in the middle of the bridge, staring out the view screen at the stars.
I hope that your investigation is going well. Even if I find your motivations to be misguided, I trust that the process will uncover the deeper truth behind the matter.
Although from the look in your face when I say that, perhaps not so much, sometimes great revelations spring from a place of misguided optimism after all. The truth, of course, being that I've been betrayed by my own nieces and insulted in a way that still
Selected.
stings quite a bit.
Galek. You shrug. You haven't really made a lot of progress yet, but you were wondering if you could maybe ask Galek some questions. In an official investigative capacity, you mean? Galek chuckles, although it's not really a sound that actually suggests any kind of humor.
You've been talking to the Legislacerator, huh?
Theseus. No, not yet.
Very well. I will endeavor to answer what questions I can in a straightforward and honest manner. I cannot promise I will be especially helpful, but I will try.
Okay.
Save.
I probably
save
don't
slot
need to
si-
save here,
si-
but
si-
I'm gonna do that anyway.
He really thinks to.
Why wouldn't I? All evidence that exists points to it as an inescapable conclusion.
Tagora's proximity to the site of the murder, his suspicious behavior, his general demeanor lately, and some other elements I don't feel comfortable disclosing to you, as much as I hate to admit it.
Selected.
Well, we don't
Galek.
even know who
Why
died,
wouldn't I?
so we don't even know what
All
the,
evidence that exists points to it as an inescapable conclusion.
Motive would be.
Okay, but suppose for a second maybe he didn't actually do it? Wouldn't Galek just feel completely awful if he were to kill his own Kismesis over a misunderstanding? Galek shrugs and frowns at you.
I suppose you have a point, which is why I'm even indulging this foolishness of yours in the first place. Honestly, if I were holding to the simple letter of Alternian law, he would already be dead.
Does he have anything that...
Personally? That's a bit of a vague question and not especially helpful to whatever it is you're playing at here.
What's the note?
Galek,
Not to
personally,
appear dismissive of your efforts,
that's a
you
bit of a
clearly
vague
have
question,
limited at best
and not
understanding of
especially
legal
helpful to
systems,
whatever it
despite
is you're
everything
playing
said.
at here.
There agrees,
One,
I'll
not
find
to
out at
appear
what point.
dismissive of your
Honestly,
efforts,
I'm completely
but you
baffled
clearly
as to
have a
how you
limited at
managed-
best. Selected. Galek, personally,
I suppose if you were to want
that's
an
a bit of
additional
a vague
perspective
question,
on the matter,
and not
I would
especially
suggest you
helpful
seek
to
out the teal bloods on
whatever
the
it is
ship
you're
who
playing at here.
aren't murderers. I believe Miss Entik and Miss Sezyat are on the observation deck. You are also welcome to investigate the crime scene directly, of course.
Location. Bridge.
Okay.
Save. File page.
Jeez, I'm gonna go through
Save.
all of these saves.
Save.
Save.
Location. Location.
Alright.
Bridge. Office. Location.
Well, first things first.
Saves.
Let's see if there's
Save. Location.
anything to
Bridge.
look around here. The magnifying glasses.
Location. Bridge.
No.
Location. Office.
Alright, I
Location.
went through all this.
Office. Observation deck.
But how can you be sure?
There's no way he could have killed that troll. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's you.
Hey, so you're really going through with this, huh?
You nod enthusiastically, although you have to admit that a lot of that is very fake it till you make it and not so much genuine enthusiasm. Still, Thesia seems to take it well enough.
Sure you are. I suppose you're going around asking everyone questions now, right?
Save. She really doesn't think he did it.
Not that it matters much to anyone, but no. Not that I can prove anything right now.
You explain that on your planet, the person accused of the crime is usually considered innocent until their guilt can actually be proven.
That sounds nice.
Of course, in reality that's almost never actually the case, and conviction rates are extremely high. If someone is accused of a crime, they're often going to be found guilty, or agree that they're guilty in order to avoid a long, expensive, and humiliating trial.
So, basically what we've got here?
Yep. No giant monster to eat the accused though.
Oh, we're phasing out the giant monster lately, except in especially important cases. The whole thing was such a production, and there aren't many of them hatched anymore.
Important cases?
You know, like beetle theft. Why, just last Perigee we had a case involving the Legicorpus High Senate, and... oh goodness, never mind. If you get me started on this, I'll never stop.
Anything less, and you're just likely to get shot in the head at the end of things.
Oh, well that does sound pretty bad.
Glad to see your talent for stating the obvious has remained intact since we last talked.
You have no idea what to do.
That's pretty obvious.
ZZ! Don't be so negative. Our friend here is just trying to help.
Fine. Have you tried actually looking around for evidence?
Well,
Probably should have
kind
gone
of.
to the thing
You have to
first.
admit that you're pretty new to this whole legislacerator thing, honestly.
If I were in your position, I'd start by searching the master respite block. I'd be willing to bet you find something worthwhile.
How would you even get in there? You can't imagine that Galek just leaves the door unlocked.
So how'd you get into the office where Tagore is locked up then?
Oh yeah. Galek gave you access through the ship's computer, and maybe it extends to the respite block as well. You can go in there and investigate, but wait, how'd Theseus even know you'd been into the office? Instead of responding, she just taps her nose and smiles at you. Can't they just ask the ghost? You seem to recall trolls having ghosts, that was a thing, right? Troll ghosts? You are nearly 100% certain that it was a thing. So why can't you just ask the ghost who killed them? Simple. Right?
Well, it's a little more complicated than that. For one thing, non-corporeal testimony has been banned in trials for 50 sweeps due to the possibility of bias. Also, we're not entirely sure what creates these ghosts, but they're not always present and require a certain kind of psychic to be able to talk to.
And we haven't seen any evidence of a ghost here.
Oh, well, that kinda sucks, that you can't even ask what happened.
Yep.
But wait, just out of curiosity, what happens if there is a ghost? Wouldn't they be pretty angry about what happened to them? Do big spaceships and stuff just have hundreds of pissed off spirits everywhere?
Oh, don't worry. They have people for that.
Location. Observation deck.
Okay, let's see what's around here. Nothing. Okay, location.
Location.
Let's actually go check out the
Airlock. Okay, this is it. This is where the horrible murder happened. This is the part where you put on your big person gloves and, really? No, fuck it, you can't do this right now. While this whole scene seems really important, like, vitally so, you can't do this right now. Baby steps. Maybe later. Why would there even be a later? If you can prove Tagora's innocence, then this whole thing will just solve itself.
Knowing who the troll is that died is probably vital to the whole
That
thing.
definitely feels plausible. Location. You're not some kind of forensics expert, but you can see a lot of blood here. So much blood basically everywhere. Honestly, it's hard to even tell how this person was killed, but it looks like maybe some kind of wound to the neck. You wish you had literally any experience investigating anything. In fact, it's hitting you fully just how woefully unqualified you are for any of this. All of this stuff seems so very important, but you just can't right now. Your stomach is churning and you can barely hold it together. There's probably another way to clear Tagora's name. Maybe you won't have to deal with any of this stuff at all. Location.
So
Airlock.
it looks like, so that is a right hand. So it looks
Location.
like
Airlock.
they hit the
Location.
pad with their right hand,
Location. Airlock.
and somehow, since the right hand
Location.
is missing,
Airlock.
the airlock closed on their right arm.
Location. Location.
So how they touched that with the...
You're not making that mistake twice. The next time you mess with something like that, it'll be under appropriate supervision. Location. Airlock.
I think with the tools... Alright.
Location. Master respite block. Location. The Recupercun looks like a giant seashell, which you guess would be the Alternian equivalent of some kind of Palace of Versailles thing. It's very fancy, a bit much for your tastes, honestly. Off to the side, it looks like there's a door leading back to a shower room. Weird, you don't think you saw one in Theseus and Stilsa's room from earlier. Even having had a chance to look around a bit while you were talking to Theseus and Stilsa, you don't remember seeing one at all. Weird, and surely not relevant to anything in the near future.
Oh, it's
Location.
gonna be relevant.
You really wish you could take a seat right now. This whole process is exhausting. But you've got things to do and innocent teal bloods to exonerate. At first glance, this looks like a standard bedside table, but there's a cleverly concealed drawer in the side of it. You shuffle around in the drawer, mostly because experience has taught you that's often where people keep important papers that they don't necessarily want other people to see. But that doesn't matter, because you've got a mission here. After a couple minutes, you find something promising. It looks like some kind of legal document, and it's absolutely covered in footnotes and annotations. On closer inspection, it seems to be some kind of hate marriage contract. You'll just hold onto this for later. Location. Master Location. Location. Master respite. Location. Location.
Okay,
Save.
here.
Saves. Location. Location. Office. Location. Location. Office. Locate. Bridge. Location. Bridge. You've. Gaeleka's eyes grow wide and he stammers before quickly regaining his composure.
How did you even... Oh, of course. The access I provided for the office also allowed you into my private quarters.
Something of a silly oversight on my part, although I suppose no real harm came of it. I keep all the really sensitive material locked up securely.
Select, Gaelek, you're really good at investigation. In fact, you learned from some of the best in the business. A regular problem sleuth trademark, that's you. Gaelek shakes his head and takes the documents from you and looks them over quickly before handing them back.
You need to understand that nothing in here is especially unusual or untoward on my part. Pretty standard for those seeking to formalize their quadrants.
I hope you don't take me for some kind of boorish fool on account of my desire to ensure my own legal safety. A similar contract might be drawn up for a Meech Sprit, Mate, sprit ship, or a long-term
Selected.
warrior allegiance.
Galek, you're not really sure if you fully believe him. You don't know much about contracts or the Alternian legal system, but it seems like there's some very one-sided language in here about harsh consequences for Tagora.
Fine. I suppose you're not going to leave me alone about this. I suspected that Tagora was pitched with someone else.
Dun, dun,
Okay,
dun.
but why?
Just a feeling I got. And then he's been
Galek
getting
did it.
increasingly distant from me lately. Especially the last couple days.
Just, Galek, just a
Everyone
feeling I got.
started making
And then he's
preparations to formalize our kismestitude, as a matter of fact.
I suspect that this has something to do
Galek,
with this sudden
just
turn
a
for the
feeling I
murders.
got. And you think that this seems like a bit of a stretch, even by some of the convoluted logic you've run into lately, but you refrain from saying anything. You should probably see what Tagora has to say about this. Location. Bridge.
Okay.
Location. Observation deck. Location. You found these. Theseus smiles softly, as if she knew exactly what you were going to say before it even left your mouth.
Well, that's a good start.
Except you don't have any idea what to actually do with this information. You keep feeling like you're pulling on a thread, but then it just gets caught on something and you can't figure out what.
So keep pulling. Go find someone who might know about those records.
That does seem like a pretty straightforward and simple solution to the problem, yet.
Sometimes the solutions are simple. Not everything has to be some complex game of chess.
Oh, they have chess on Alternia. Maybe your worlds aren't so different after all.
Oh, sure. It's a little bloody sometimes, but you know how it is.
You think that this might be one of those cultural misunderstandings you've heard so much about. Location. Location. Bridge. Airlock. Location. Location.
Anything.
Location.
Nothing.
Observation deck. Master resp. Location.
Alright.
Location.
That could
Loca-
be
off- Location.
I know I haven't been saving as much. It does look like it's really necessary.
Gale. Tagora actually looks genuinely tickled by this. He tosses his head back and laughs in that weird, grating way that he has.
Cheating on him? Oh, that's fucking rich.
So, no.
Of course I'm not cheating on him. Why the hell would I do that?
Stuck in a, hateless relationship?
You should really stop talking so much. You know that, right?
Actually not the first time you've heard that.
Oh, I can't imagine why. In any case, no, I'm not fucking cheating on him. I might be morally flexible in a lot of ways, but I take my quadrant seriously.
Okay, cool. So about the whole about to be killed by his kismesis because of the murder he claims he didn't commit thing.
Fine. You want to know what I was doing down by the cargo bay? I was talking to Theseus. More specifically, I was trying to find a spot where I could talk without Galek potentially seeing.
Wait a minute, didn't he just say that he took his quadrants seriously?
Idiot. It wasn't a quadrant thing. God, I don't feel that way about her. I needed her advice on something. Specifically, I think Galek might have added a few conditions to our hate marriage contract.
Conditions. What does that mean?
It means I don't know what it means. I never got a good look at the document, and he hid it away somewhere.
Oh, well that's convenient. You happen to have that document with you. Tagora quickly grabs the papers from you and looks them over, frowning to himself.
This is about what I expected. I was hoping Theseus might be able to find a way to legally nullify whatever language he put in there. He might be a high blood, but I don't want to be in a relationship where I don't have the upper hand.
Okay, this is starting to finally get interesting. Of course, it sure would be nice if Tagora had literally any proof of what he was saying as far as his conversation with Theseus.
The best I can do is this.
He hands you his palm husk. Okay, thanks, but what are you supposed to do with this?
It's a Legis Corpus palm husk, you grub-brained idiot. There's an investigative module installed that tracks evidence you gather, including my conversation with Tisius.
Why not just let you log into his account and see the messages directly though? Surely this whole message log thing is an overly cumbersome way to, never mind, he's glaring at you again.
I'm not letting you see all of my private conversations. There's some highly compromising photographs in there.
Yeah, you're actually good with doing things this way. Sometimes a little bit of a gameplay conceit is good for you, helps keep you on your toes and all that.
Anyway, you'll figure it out. And don't worry about giving the Palmas back. I've got a bunch of them. Consider it an investment, if you will. A gesture of good faith that you'll get me the fuck out of this.
You know what? You're not actually going to pursue that line of inquiry any further. He's right. You'll figure this out. 13. Location. Office. Location.
13 messages. Okay, let's see.
Save. Location. Location.
Ardada, yeah.
Selected. Location. Office. 13. Alert at Commander Carmia. 1. Location. Office.
Oh, come on.
13. Alert at Commander Carmia. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Commander Carmia. Reminder that all Imperial social media policies still apply to Chitr. Anything you say can and will be used against you. 20,312 47,394. 3 HR at Commander Carmia. If you have issues with the terms of your recruitment, feel free to reach out to your CO. They will be understanding. 15,234 35,545. 3 HR at Commander Carmia. I will be touring Satellite 5762A if anyone has any questions about Imperial procedure. 15,234 35,545. 3 HR at Commander Carmia. Remember that too much speech is a bad thing. It leads to unpleasant outcomes. 13,541 31,596. 2 Psych at Commander Carmia. Broadcast schedule has been updated. Check my schedule page on GrubTube for additional details. 13,541 31,596. 2 Psych at Commander Carmia. High Bloods, you have options for your Imperial service, but you do not have options about whether or not you serve. 23,697 55,293. 4 Psych at Commander Carmia. Anything you say on GrubTube will be reported to Legis Corpus immediately. 16,900.
Alright, so
Selected. Location. Office. 12. Alert at Chixie. 2, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Chixie. Gotta keep focused on what I'm doing. No matter what. 3,047 339. 3 HR at Chixie. Check out my new single on Slaughterfy. Slaughterfy/Chixie. 2,371 263. 3 HR at Chixie. So thankful for the opportunities I have. Even when I got off-world, I'll be able to create 3,047 339. 1 Psych at Chixie. Buy my latest album on Slaughterfy. Slaughterfy/Chixie. 2032 226. 1. Selected.
Yeah, what's this one?
Location. Office. 12. Alert at Chixie REAL. 2, 3, 1, 3.
the real
3 at Chixie REAL. So what, if I'm not his slave? Might as well be, fucking, might as well. 40. 3 HR at Chixie REAL. I'll never get out of here. That's not for people like us. 50. 3 HR at Chixie REAL. Gotta log off for a while. If you know, you know. 30. 3 HR at Sellenguffers. I'll be in touch. Seriously. 3 HR at Chixie REAL. Wish there was some way out of this. 30. 2 Psych at Sellenguffers. You and me both. Chicks, 1 psych at Chixie REAL, I don't want to do this right now, ELOK, 1 psych at Chixie REAL, how do I keep lying to people? What makes that okay? 30, 4 psych at Chixie REAL, guess the trick, was lying to myself, the whole time, 30, 4 psych at Chixie REAL, someday, this'll all be over. For good, 40, 4 psych at Selling Guffers, hey, are you, like, okay? Seriously, chicks, talk to me, 4 psych at Chixie REAL, I'm fine. Well, not fine. I'll be okay. It's fine, 2 psych,
having problems?
select, location. Office, 12, alert at Selling Guffers, 2, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Selling Guffers, guess I just kind of fuck everything up, right? That's my whole deal, that's my thing, 6189 2781, 3HR at Selling Guffers, you ever think how messed up this system is? Grow up, maybe. Fuck, probably. Then shuffle off world to die, definitely, 4761 2139, 3HR at Selling Guffers, I can't fucking do this anymore. I cannot fucking do this. It's like, everything coming up and crashing down all over me again and I'm fucking done. 6189 2781, 3HR at Chixie REAL, yes, you can. We'll talk about it later, okay, 3HR at Selling Guffers, gonna lose my fucking shit in here. Walls keep closing in around me and this asshole's shit company, 7141 3209, 1 psych at Selling Guffers, is it weird to say that I miss her now? Still have that damn sweater, LOL, 8094 3636, 1 psych at Selling Guffers, weird how they just kinda, let me talk on here, right? I'm supposed to be on the fucking call lists, 5237 2353, 4 psych at Selling Guffers, it's almost like there's different standards, huh? Funny how that works, 4761 2139, 4 psych at Selling Guffers, my bronze blood friend, she's not gonna get extended the same courtesy. Only here because of some asshole patron keeping her around, 6665 2995, 4 psych at Selling Guffers, the jade blood asshole I'm hanging with, he's basically locate
Let's see. Let's get back to Gallic. Yeah, sure. Gallic is...
location.
Well, the one we wanted
activate.
The one we actually wanted to get to do was Tysius. Oh wait, no, there's the investigation tab or something, whatever.
Location. Office, 10, alert at need to know, 3, 1, 3, 3 at need to know. Sometimes in the course of one's duty to the Empire it becomes necessary to do things that, while somewhat odious, are necessary. 973 1189, 55 minutes at need to know. If actually understood that, he'd understand why this was the only course of action I could take. 55 minutes at need to know. I really wish he would stop calling it a hate wedding. The very idea is absurd. 1216 1487, 3HR at need to know, my kismesis is being remarkably cagey and I cannot help but wonder why. 973 1189, 3HR at Betterkal Gorger, I'm not talking to you. 3HR at need to know, processing the appropriate paperwork for myself and has been utterly exhausting. 1216 1487, 1 psych at need to know, I swear, the things I do for my kismesis. He annoys me in the best possible way. 730 892, 1 psych at need to know, perhaps after this whole process is over I can finally take some time to relax. 730 892, 1 psych at need to know, I want to reiterate for the sake of my kismesis that I have no strong opinion either way on tiger-based punishment. 1216 1487, 2 psych at Betterkal Gorger, you're no fun. 2 psych at need to know, nor did I claim to be, 2 psych at need to know, blasted paperwork never ends with this position, 730-892, 2 psych at need to know, there is a certain poetry in the counter-revolutionary writings from the time of the First Triumph, 973-1189, 3 psych at need to know, the methodology leaves something to be desired, but there's something so simple about it, 3 psych at need to know, it's hard not to yearn for times when the answers seemed so easy, 3 psych at need to know, it would do well for those in high security positions to remember who they serve at the behest of, 730-892, 4 psych at need to know, those that truly have nothing to hide nothing. Those with no secrets, keep none, 730-892, 4 psych at need to know, I have been indulging in some of the High Autarch's older works. Magnificent understanding of form and structure. Activate, deactivate.
Okay, jeez. Alright, yeah, let's at least get through Triza.
Location. Selected. Location. Office. Location. Office, 10, alert at Real Trizatethes, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Real Trizatethes, if you ain't cool with her, you're not cool with me. Number Real Talk, 290,505,327 0, 3 HR at Real Trizatethes, rebels think they're hot shit, how come they haven't changed anything? Nice rebellion, would be a shame if someone fucked with it, 279,332,046 0, 3 HR at Real Trizatethes, hey what do you think you're doing back, 212,292,355 0, 3 HR at Real Trizatethes, you all owe the Empire your service, this isn't about you, it's about number loyalty, 279,332,046 0, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, lot of talk about number low blood rights, remember who takes care of you, Alternia, 201,119,073 0, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, Alternia, time to name our next warship. Best suggestion has the honor of being assigned as permanent crew, 268,158,764 0, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, number low blood rights to serve and remember who the fuck you are, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, complaining about mandatory duty assignments. Sounds like some loser ass shit to me. Number loyalty, 212,292,355 0, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, remember that joke suggestions are grounds for mandatory culling. Number loyalty, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, moons are out bright tonight. Reminds me that she is always watching you. Number loyalty, 268,158,764 0, 1 psych at Real Trizatethes, LMAO you aren't ready for this shit, Alternia. Mandatory recruitment drive in full effect. Number loyalty, 391,064,864 0, 2 psych at Real Trizatethes, remember, if I'm her right hand, he's her left. Never fucking forget. Number loyalty, 201,119,073 0, 2 psych at Real Trizatethes, let's hear it for her imperious condescension. Fuck those rebels up. Number colonies number loyalty, 201,119,073 0, 2 psych at Real Trizatethes, and I've been talking a lot lately, maybe something else to think about.
All I said
Number
was we
deep
should
thoughts,
make things better for the low ones so that people LMAO,
290,505,327 3 psych at
God, you're so
Krydiajevic,
right.
on those lonely walks
Been
at
talking
sunset.
to some folks lately
3
about the
psych at
future,
Real
a lot to
Trizatethes,
consider. Some in
yeah,
particular,
for sure.
maybe
3 psych at
alternatives look
Krydiajevic,
beautiful, something
you
about
okay?
the waters
3 psych at Real Trizatethes, I'll
Sometimes
DM
just like
you,
to walk on the beach
okay.
at sunset
3 psych at Real
and
Trizatethes,
wait for the
finally
moons to
talked
rise
about
and
it.
for future
Finally told her.
Gattiso and suffer
Finally
what we
making
think
those
he
plans I've been
sees
talking
when he
about.
talks to me.
Alternia, you're
Talking
not
to me
ready
about
for this.
what's appropriate
Number
for my
positivity,
station.
223,465,636 3 psych at Real Trizatethes, location. Office, 10, alert at Real Trizatethes, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Real Trizatethes, if you ain't cool with her, you're not cool with me. Number real talk, 290,505,327, thinking, location. Thinking about what said lately. Number deep
Ooh.
thoughts. Think, location.
Profile.
Office, 10, alert at
has been
Krydiajevic,
deactivated.
3,
Need to have to
1,
look at the
3, 3,
preferred
trending in
local
Alteria.
place.
Location,
Shoot.
selected, location.
Imperial Earth. Recent intelligence
Office,
says that rebel
10
elements
at
have
Imperial
infiltrated
Alerts, 3,
positions
1, 3, 3 at Imperial Alerts.
Tetrarch.
Recent intelligence suggests
Yeah, the
that rebel
Brown
elements
Blood,
may have
Legionnaires
infiltrated key
Tetrarch.
positions within Legis
Which
Corpus.
one's Tetrarch?
Remain vigilant, 1 HR at Imperial Alert. Location. Office.
Okay.
Location. Office. Barber.
Let's check
Selected.
out Skyla, see if Skyla's probably alive.
Location. Office, 10 at Countryadi 453, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Countryadi 453, OMG I can't believe he actually responded. It means so much to see my experience as a loyal soldier in the Alternian army represented accurately by such a fine program, 311-115, 3HR at Countryadi 453, I love the part in S02E15 where Beck first meets his loyal gold blood mate Sprit. Wish that were me, 311-115, 3HR at Countryadi 453, what would you consider your favorite moment of the show, 242-89, 3HR at Gorf quotes, we've done so many amazing episodes, I can't pick just one, 3HR at Gorf quotes, probably episode S04E56 where helped me convince a group of Rust Bloods to sacrifice their lives to save Colony World 29123E, 3HR at Countryadi 453, OMG what if actually saw my posts? That would be amazing, 207-77, 2 psych at the Beck Rogers, of course I'd respond to a loyal fan. Especially a fellow member of the Alternian army, 2 psych at the Beck Rogers, nothing makes me happier. Except serving the Empire and the companionship of my faithful rusty companion, 2 psych at Countryadi 453, remember that time that Beck broke up the smuggling ring? Probably one of my top 10 moments ever, 207-77, 4 psych at Countryadi 453, Gorf is such a silly character. So relatable as a fellow low blood, 207-77, 4 psych at Countryadi 453, Ascension's tomorrow and I'm too much of a coward to run. They told me I can't have my palm husk up there, 242-89, 278 psych at Countryadi 453, watch them turn this into a fucking Beck Rogers fan account when I'm gone, 278 psych at Countryadi 453, just a couple cycles off and then it's time for me to join the army. God knows what that'll actually mean, 311-115, 280 psych at Countryadi 453, I was so sure before, but now I don't know. All those years looking up to something that wasn't even real, 277-102, 280 psych, 4007, location,
Okay, let's check out
location,
some of these other
office, locate, nothing makes me happier, location, office, 10 at
Oh.
Gorf quotes, 3, 1, 3, 3 at Gorf quotes, The rebels were spying on us this whole time. 2,842,621 3HR at Gorf quotes. Time to remember my army training. 3,488,671 5HR at Gorf quotes. They were working against us the whole time. That's no good. 3,230,251 13HR at Gorf.
Okay. Oh, so
location.
the bottom is the oldest. Okay, I was kind of
location.
pitching that backwards.
Office 10 at Countryadai 453 3 1 Barber. Location. Probably episode S0. Location. Location.
Huh. Let's see if there's any in here
location.
that I missed.
Bar.
Let's
Location.
see.
Barber. Location. Barber. Barber. Activate. Location. Location.
Silly
So-
numbers.
Bar.
Okay.
Location.
Yalak.
Activate. Location. Rebellion is a deadly seed with location. Location.
Okay.
Location.
See his
Office. 7 at
oh.
Better Call Gorger. 3. Location. Office. 7 at Better Call
Yeah, I'm not
Gorger.
gonna wait for the
3.
auto voice or anything.
1.
I'm just gonna, like,
3
read
at
them.
Better Call Gorger. Well, it looks like is on the case. Excuse me if that doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. 25,894 233,041
Okay.
Location. Office. 7 at Better Call Gorger. 3. 1. 3 at Better Call Gorger. Well, locate. Assistant Showmaster on the Iastitia. Life is all about what you can get. Business is a lifestyle. Location. Location. Assistant Showmaster. Activate. Location.
No, okay, yeah, that's
Location. Barber. Activate. Deactivate. Locate.
let's see what we get in
Selected.
investigation.
TZ. Location. Locked compute. Location. Office. 7. Dash.
Okay,
dash.
yeah, this is going to be
Location.
a
Location.
good place to save
Selected.
for now. There's a
Location.
lot going on.
Location. Activate. Location.
Yeah.
Thinking about location. Office. 7 at. Selected. Deactivate.
There's a lot in here, so okay, yeah. I gotta call it for the night, but we will continue reading chat messages next time. So, till next time, later.
Location. Save. Location. Office. 7.